law of attraction, interdimensional realities, and you coming up right now. So if you're like a lot of people, you've heard of The Secret, you know the law of attraction's out there, and maybe it doesn't work. Maybe it works. Maybe it works too well. Maybe it explains things, but you don't really know how to, whatever. I want to take a moment to address that on an intellectual level, but I'm really wanting to get to somewhere else with this, because you're going to be able to apply the information, the law of attraction. You're going to be able to make it all work for you. You're going to be able to bring in the things and the circumstances and whatever it is that you desire into your life, and that's not a problem. That's actually quite simple. It's not simple at first because we're going to have to reconfigure our minds. But where this is going to take us is the ultimate destination. You know, when we watch TV, or when we get into we get good news, something stirs in us. And what it is hope. It's excitement. It's the idea that things are about to change. Something could change. And so therefore, we need to start looking at what is driving this wild hamster wheel-like emotion. And I say a hamster wheel-like emotion because it's going to pass, and you're going to be in the same scenario that you were before the news, or the good news that you heard, or the television show and its exciting thing. None of that stuff brings any lasting joy. I think that's important to note. That's important to note. Why? Well, every time you allow yourself to go up and down that roller coaster, you've actually only bided your time with the suckling of the emotion of a changed future. And you're not really actually getting it. You're ending up empty-handed, and this is going to cause a need for more of that emotion. So what we want to do is get to the root of this so that you actually experience the things that you've always wanted in life. So that you have genuine joy, and you're not actually waiting for something to happen to make you happy. You're not waiting for that great thing to happen, because it can happen sooner than you'd ever imagine. So that's important to know. Most of us are waiting for something to come and save us. And the thing that's going to save you is a change, a shift of your conscious awareness from the circumstances and from your faraway wishes and hopes into solid expectations and the reality of what you already have available to you. We're selling off what we have available to us for something that may or may not show, but we haven't really thought it out. What happens when we get it? Is that really what we want? In my quest with the law of attraction, and having experienced many wonderful magical incidences, synchronicities like crazy, every single day of my life, since learning about the law of attraction in 2007, going around the world, seeing all sorts of situations and people and things that I never, that were always outside. But eventually learning the secret. What it came down to, though, was that no matter where a person goes, no matter what happens to you, you're still going to be missing that thing that you really want. Now, where do we see this thing that we really want all around us? Really, we see it in the sci-fi fantasy genre. Why does that resonate with us on such a deep level? Why does the idea of not just a magical life, but a miraculous, mystical life entrance us so? Well, one reason is we all inherently, internally, well, not all of us, but those who do, spiritually minded people, realize that this is of the land that we come from, this is the land we go to. Some of us in the superhero genre, we think that we feel if the powers are about us, if we're in that, then we will be complete. And the reality is that we do become complete when we enter into the fullness of that power. Or rather, as we enter into the fullness of that power, we become more complete. But how do we do that? How do we enter into this mystical reality? Well, let me tell you something about myself. I've always kind of veered away from sci-fi, though I had an interest in certain other extraterrestrial matters. But just the fiction part, okay, wasn't as appealing to me because I was on a quest for something a bit more tangible, something more substantial, something real. In that quest, though, I found in religion and spirituality another way to handle this desire. See, when you look into the religions and things, you think that it's just some precepts or some laws, some ideas that you need to abide by in order to be accounted worthy one day. But my question is, when Jesus talks about the miracles that we should be working and the kingdom of heaven around us, how come nobody's doing it? How come nobody's moving into the spiritual world? So what I find is that most people don't believe that that exists because we're taught to think of that on a fictional level. At this point, and the generations up until now, people who are just being born and, are more and more just seeing this as a fantastical fantasy world that can't really be obtained. The hopes of science say, as we develop in consciousness, this might become available. And the ancient fairy tales and stories indicate that it was once possible, but we don't have modern mystics as surrounding us as much as we probably absolutely should. And as a result, we're walking around without even the desire to enter into another dimension. If we all knew that it was there, if we believed that it was possible, we might be inclined to set our sights quite a bit differently from where we set them. Instead of waiting for wealth and prosperity to befall us in order to pursue the spirit world, instead of waiting to die, instead of waiting for the master to enter our path and initiate us in his own good timing, we would be actively pursuing the knowledge that allows for and causes a certain form of self-initiation. When I'm talking about going into another dimension, I am not mincing words here. I mean what I'm saying. There are other dimensions that are accessible, that I myself have personally, and others that are very accessible who can testify to this, that are available and that are accessible and that you can be entrained to experience clairvoyantly. And this is where our heart should be, because that is self-development. Next time we talk, I'm going to go more into detail about the method that I use to go interdimensional. And once you break through the first time, you're going to be set up for the rest of your life. You're going to be on your own track. You'll be self-actualized from there on out. And there will be constant development. I'm developing constantly, but it's a development of the spiritual in the spiritual. You're a spiritual being. Come back. Talk to me then.